Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today we're going to be doing another meal prep with me video, and I'm going to be showing you guys my 2-ingredient dough recipe. But first we're going to start with what I'm having for breakfast this week. I'm using the Season's Choice hash browns from Aldi and some of the Banquet sausages. These sausages are kind of high in points, so I'm trying to get rid of them. So I'm going to start by weighing out 6 ounces of the hash browns, and then once I have them weighed out, I'm gonna get those going, and I just put them in a pan with some olive oil and salt and pepper, and I'm gonna put my last 3 sausage links in the microwave to cook. Once my links are done, I'm going to go ahead and chop them up into little tiny pieces, as small as I can handle, because it's pretty annoying to chop something up so small. But we're going to be using them in my breakfast hash brown casserole. And I've had this in a what I eat in a day video before, and you guys wanted to see how I made it, so I'm making it again for you. I section out a part of a baking sheet with aluminum foil. I actually made it a little too big this time, so my casserole was pretty thin, but it still tastes as good, so it was fine. And I'm going to go ahead and spray a little bit of Pam on my section there, and then I'm going to crack and beat 5 eggs. I do 5 because that's 1 for each serving plus an extra, and it usually ends up pretty good, so that's my method. Once I have the hash browns done, I'm going to go ahead and put them into the baking sheet, the little portion of it, and this is pretty much the base of the casserole. After that, I'm going to go ahead and pour my egg mixture into that. I do try to spread out the hash browns since it's the base. Of course, it doesn't cover the bottom because it's not a lot, but there is a very potato-y taste, I guess you could say, in the casserole. So to me, it's plenty. So I'm going to add my eggs, and then I'm going to throw on my little pieces of the sausage links. And then I'm going to turn on the oven to 350 degrees, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in, and normally by the time the oven is preheated, the eggs will be done. While that's in the oven, I'm going to go ahead and start on my next thing. So I am using some of the Appleton Farms center cut bacon from Aldi. This is 2 points for 1 slice, and I'm using it as my 2-ingredient dough pizza topping. I find that the little packages of the imitation bacon bits just make my 2-ingredient dough pizza taste weird, and honestly, I can have more for the points here. My eggs are actually done already, so I'm going to put a slice of Velveeta cheese on each of the serving sizes. And again, these were kind of bigger than usual, so I folded them with the cheese and made it kind of like a breakfast hash brown burrito. We're just winging it here usually. So that's what I did, and these are 4 points each, and they're really filling, super delicious. I don't make more than 4 because I don't like having eggs in the fridge for a super long time, but they do reheat nicely just by putting them in the microwave for 1 minute. So now the bacon is done, and I've already pre-crumbled up some of it. I'm going to be making 1 full-size 2-ingredient dough pizza and 2 kind of personal size ones. And this is the recipe. I'm sure you guys have seen it before. I'm going to take half a cup each of self-rising flour and the non-fat plain Greek yogurt. And I'm going to flour all my surfaces. I did add a point to each of the recipes for the extra flour that I ended up using. So I'm going to go ahead and get my Greek yogurt in there and my flour, and then I'm going to just mix it up until it forms into a slightly doughy texture. The first batch was more sticky than usual. I think I had a little too much yogurt, but you pretty much just even it out until it becomes easier to work with. And once I have that, I'm just gonna roll it out. And I like to add garlic powder into mine. For a little while I was adding Italian seasoning, but I don't know, I prefer garlic powder, but you guys can play around with this recipe and see what you like. I do get the dough pretty thin, so I'm gonna go ahead and roll it, and then once I've got it rolled out, I'm going to try to stretch it a little bit, and then I'm gonna put it onto a normal pizza pan. And then I try to smooth it out to the edges to make it kind of as big as possible. And since this is only a half a cup of the mixture, it is, again, really thin. So you guys can keep that in mind. If you want to add the extra points, you can make a full cup mixture and maybe have a thicker crust, but this is fine for me. So I'm going to add a little bit more garlic powder to the top, and I'm using this 0-point butter spray mostly around the edges so that it can crisp up a little bit there. And then what I do is put it in the oven at 350, and I do not have a standard amount of time. I pretty much can smell the garlic and the butter whenever it is ready to be checked on. So when you get it out, it is going to be just like pizza dough. And I made another recipe of this. I did a half a cup of each yogurt and flour again, and then I split the dough ball in half so that I could make two kind of personal sized pizzas. And they're over here. I'm going to do the same thing to these, and then I'm going to stick them in the oven, but I'm going to go ahead and get started on the toppings for the big pizza. It is not necessary for you to bake the dough before you put the toppings on, but I find that that's what has been working best for me. So for the toppings, I use the Prego light sauce, and I'm putting 1/4 cup of this on the big one and 1/8 cup on each of the smaller ones. I'm literally just splitting my normal recipe in half. So I'm going to spread this out on the pizza. I don't like a lot of sauce. Some of my friends on Weight Watchers have said that they get more points because they use more sauce and more dough. But this always works for me. And then I'm using the Velveeta shredded cheese on it. And I've got 4 slices of the Aldi center cut bacon. So I'm going to crumble those on there, and then I'm going to add my cheese. And to this, I'm actually going to add some tomato slices from Roma Tomatoes, and some pineapple and some red onion. It's really good. I know it sounds kind of weird. I love adding fresh tomatoes to the top of my 2-ingredient dough pizza. It makes it really delicious, and the tomatoes are real juicy, and it's really good heated up, so it's all just, everything's good. So I'm going to go ahead and chop those up, and I'm going to add those to the pizza. To the smaller ones, I'm not adding exactly the same thing. One of them I think is just tomatoes and bacon. One of them may just be bacon and cheese, but you will see that in just a moment. So I've added 2 slices each of the bacon to the small pizzas, and I've added 1/4 cup each of the Velveeta shredded cheese, and the big one has 1/3 cup of cheese. So these are going to be 5 points for half of the small pizzas, and the big pizza is 4 points for 2 slices or 1/4 of the pizza. And these are really delicious. As you can see, it's definitely a big mess maker. It's always really messy, but it is worth it because they reheat so nicely. These are honestly one of my favorite things to meal prep. While those are in the oven, I'm going to go ahead and work on my lunches for the week. So I'm going to finish chopping up my red onion for salads and sandwiches this week. And I've got all my containers laid out so I can just throw everything in them. My kitchen is always a mess when I'm meal prepping. Give this video a thumbs up if you feel my struggle. So I'm going to go ahead and chop up my lettuce for some side salads. And I always get the head of lettuce because it's just more cost effective and I feel like it stays fresh longer. I could be crazy. but it's worth it to me to do the work of just chopping it. So I always get the lettuce, and after I'm chopping that, I'm going to go ahead and chop up some cucumber for my salads, and I'm also going to chop up some cucumbers just for a snack to have through the week. So you guys are going to see that. And then I'm going to get started on making my sandwiches. So I'm taking 2 slices of the Fit and Active bread from Aldi, and I'm going to pop those in the toaster, and toasting the bread is just going to help it not get soggy in the containers. I only prep sandwiches for 3 days maximum. I do not prep any sandwiches after that because I don't want it to get soggy. But I'm going to use that bread, and I'm going to use some deli meat that's from Aldi as well. I just love Aldi lately. I love everything. Everything I eat is from Aldi, and I'm fine with that. So I'm going to take some slices of this oven roasted turkey breast. It is so good, and I'm going to just add that. And I'm also going to bulk up my sandwiches this week with some lettuce, tomato, and onion, which made for an awesome sandwich. It tasted amazing, and it looks super healthy, so I was really proud of it all week. So I'm going to go ahead and put those sandwiches together with my toasted bread. And then on the side, I'm going to have 14 of the barbecue Lay's Poppables, which is 2 points. And if you guys have not tried Poppables, they are so good. My friends turned me on to them, and the cheese I'm using is Velveeta. You guys already know, the 1 point cheese. And this is what the beautiful veggied up sandwich looks like, and I can't speak at all. So this is like the longest voiceover I've ever done, so I'm so sorry. After I get my poppables in there, I'm going to go ahead and finish making my snacks, and I'm going to be making the 0 point ranch dip. So I'm going to take a few heaping tablespoons of the Greek yogurt, and I'm going to add about half a packet of the ranch seasoning in there, and you pretty much just play with it until you have it how you want it. Then I'm just going to plop some of this into containers with some cherry tomatoes and some of the cucumbers that I chopped up earlier, and that's going to be a nice 0 point snack for the week. For my salads, I'm going to use some light ranch. I don't like using the 0 point ranch on salads. It tastes more like a dipping ranch to me. So I'm going to be using light ranch, and to my little side salads, I'm adding 1 tablespoon, and I do have a large salad where I'm going to add 2 tablespoons, and that's going to be for the day that I'm not eating a sandwich. Then I have a salad laid out for my husband as well in the bag, so you guys can just ignore that. Then my pizzas are done. This is what they look like, and yeah, I think I need to make these again because these are delicious. And after that, I'm just going to box everything up, and I'm going to work on my other snack for the day, which is going to be an apple a day with 1 tablespoon of the Jif Whips peanut butter. And this has been my go-to snack for like 2 months now. I just can't stop eating it. Love it, obsessed with it, and it's a 2 point snack, so there's not much else I could really ask for. But that's all I wanted to show you guys today, just so you can meal prep with me, and I hope I gave you some ideas. Let me know in the comments how you eat your 2 ingredient dough pizza, and thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.